Howdy folks, Doc here with Last Best Tool, and Olight's got new gear this month, including a new take on their Rubato knife. This is the Rubato 4, or the fourth generation of the Rubato series. I'll compare it to this Rubato 3, and actually the similarities is going to be a shorter list than the differences. I mean, they've changed the handle shape, the handle material, they've changed the blade profile, blade coating, blade steel. They've even changed the axis or crossbar lock. They have added an extra, on the new one, an extra standout from 2 to 3. They've gone to the polished stainless on the inside versus the steel, regular steel here. Olight has experimented with a lot of different handle materials. We've got titanium, we've got smooth G10, we've got textured aluminum, we've got smooth aluminum, we've got, this is textured G10, we've got micarta, we've got carbon fiber, and now we've got what they're calling, which is really Ultem here, but they're calling it polyether amide, excuse me. Polyether amide, or PEI, or Ultem, has got great properties for things like knife handles, as well as, I mean, it's used in structural components in the aerospace industry. But one of the big things, it's fairly translucent, as you can see here. So if I put it on a light, you can see pretty much right through the knife. Just like that. In fact, here you can see the spring for the crossbar lock or axis lock is visible there. If you close up the knife, you can't easily see through it because the blade's creating a block, an opaque block there, but you can at angles. It's kind of neat. Anyway, what we've got for blade steel now, this is a big upgrade, is this CPM S35VN. That's a step up from the 154CM, both powder steels, both high-end, considered super steels, but the properties of the S35 are really good. A little more durability, edge holding. The Benchmade knives often use the 154CM, and lately Benchmade has moved up to both the S35 and S90V steels. But that's a welcome addition. They've also gone to a satin finish there. Flat grind, full flat grind, all the way from the spine up here, all the way down to the edge there. You can see. Big open space there. I'm glad they didn't billboard it with something. And then they've also got a different blade profile. This, obviously, they're both considered drop points, and that's just that the point of the knife drops below the spine. But this isn't much of a drop point. It's got kind of a full belly. It's almost like a skinner, which is kind of interesting. A skinning knife would have a big full belly like that on a nice flat grind. They have changed up the lock a little bit. Watch this. So on the previous version, when I move this, there is sometimes a little bit of blade movement, but not much. And in fact, if you go slow, the very end, there's a little bit of tip lift. Okay. On this one, see that? I can really pop that out of there. Now, Benchmade also did that a little bit. Here's a kind of a classic Benchmade. It doesn't do anything when you move the axis lock there. But on this one, it really kicks it out. In fact, I can get it out so far that it stays up on this one. This is a Mel Pardue, wonderful little office knife. But because of that, if you do a combination of pulling down of the axis lock and a slight flick, you can really deploy the blade faster than if you have to literally try to use the mass of the blade to flick it out. So Olight has incorporated that, which makes this silky smooth to launch, even though it's a rock-solid lock up there with that big old pivot. It does have a reversible, but always tip-up pocket clip. Simple design, very elegant, very effective. I do like that blade. Sometimes, I mean, there are places for a blade like this, but for a lot of us, you know, a nice big old belly, if you think what's up there, it doesn't have the swedge, so it's not quite as aggressive looking, you know, but that does look fairly tactical. Whereas this just looks like kind of an enjoyable, maybe a city knife. Anyway, it weighs about 80 grams. It has a handful of different, I don't know, features as far as the, real subtle designs of it, the way that they've machined. You can see the cutting lines here. A lot of Ultem seems to have that. There must be some Ultem cutting method, but you can also see the way that they finished off. I can get that to focus. The edges there. Just the stainless steel pocket clip is really polished nicely. Solid stainless steel hardware all the way around. The spring very strong. I mean, I don't see any corners that they cut in the design of this thing or the build of it. And I do like that big satin finish blade. It doesn't have the bright. Here's another kind of. This is more like a satin finish, but with lines versus something a little bit shinier. Still some lines there. And then if you went out, that's pretty shiny right there. But anyway, as far as the angle, this is pretty much straight. Benchmade does explore different angles with their axis locks, as you can see there. This does have thumb studs out on the blade if you want to deploy it like that. Sometimes that's a little softer deployment than doing a, some cool flick. But overall, I'm glad that they are experimenting with knives, with designs, everything from the steel to the cut to the performance to just everything about these. Every time I look at them, look at new knives, it's fun to see what are they messing around with. Even the skeletonization has changed inside the knife. So it's just a lot of fun to see how these things develop over time. Anyway, so there it is, the brand new Rubato 4 from the Oknife division of Olight. And with that, Doc out.